Every story needs a setting, and the greatest stories ever told, stories of creation, exodus, prophecy, and redemption, all share one, a narrow strip of land at the crossroads of 3 continents. The Bible is not just a theological document, it's a geographic one. The mountains, rivers, deserts, and seas of the ancient Near East aren't just backdrops, they are characters. Today, we're going to explore the geography of the Bible and understand why the land itself shaped everything. Imagine you're drawing a map of the ancient world. To the southwest, Egypt, the most powerful civilization of its time. To the northeast, Mesopotamia, Babylon, Assyria, Persia, and right between them, a thin corridor of land barely 400 kilometers long. This is Canaan, later called Israel, and its position was everything. The landscape of biblical Israel is remarkably diverse for such a small area, running north to south through the center, the central highlands, the spine of the country. This is where you find Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Hebron, and Shechem. Jerusalem sits at over 750 meters above sea level. It's not on a major trade route. It doesn't sit next to a river. So why was it chosen as Israel's capital? Because it was defensible, surrounded by valleys on 3 sides, and because it sat on the boundary between the northern and southern tribes. David's choice of Jerusalem was as much political geography as it was divine calling. To the north, the valley of Jezreel cuts east to west across the country, flat, fertile, and strategically vital. Whoever controlled this valley controlled northern Israel. It was the site of some of the Bible's most dramatic battles: Deborah and Barak, Gideon and King Josiah's fatal encounter with Pharaoh Necho. The book of Revelation even places the final battle of history here, Armageddon from Har Megiddo, the Mount of Megiddo. In a dry land, water is everything. The Jordan River runs the full length of the country, from the snowy slopes of Mount Hermon in the north, through the Sea of Galilee, and all the way down to the Dead Sea. It drops over 1,000 meters along the way, making it one of the lowest river systems on Earth. The Jordan is not a grand river. It's narrow, muddy, and slow. But in the Bible, it is the boundary between the wilderness and the Promised Land. Crossing the Jordan meant transformation, from wandering to belonging. No wonder it became the symbol of baptism. The Sea of Galilee, or Lake Kinneret, sits 200 meters below sea level. It's here that Jesus called his first disciples, walked on water, and calmed the storm. The lake was economically vital, and the surrounding region was densely populated in the 1st century. At the other end of the Jordan, the Dead Sea. At nearly 430 meters below sea level, it is the lowest point on Earth. Nothing lives in it, hence the name. But the barren cliffs above it? That's where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found in 1947, the oldest biblical manuscripts ever discovered. If the mountains shaped Israel's defenses and the rivers its agriculture, the desert shaped its soul. The wilderness, the midbar in Hebrew, is not merely absence, it is presence of a different kind. In the Bible, the desert is where God speaks. Moses encounters the burning bush in the Sinai wilderness. Elijah hears the still small voice in the desert. John the Baptist preaches in the Judean wilderness. Jesus is tempted in the wilderness for 40 days. The Sinai Peninsula is where the 40 years of Israelite wandering took place. Scholars debate the exact route of the Exodus, but the landscape is clear. This is a place of testing, formation, and encounter. You can't rush through the wilderness. It strips away everything, and in that stripping, something sacred happens. Even today, the Negev and Judean deserts remain some of the most spiritually powerful landscapes on Earth. Go there, and you understand why the prophets fled to the wild places. The geography of the Bible doesn't end at Israel's borders. The surrounding nations are inseparable from the story. To the west, the Mediterranean coast, controlled by the Philistines and later the Phoenicians. Joppa, modern Jaffa, was Israel's main port. From there, Jonah tried to flee from God. From there, Solomon imported cedar from Lebanon. To the east, the Transjordan Plateau, the lands of Moab, Ammon, and Edom, where Lot's descendants settled after Abraham. The King's Highway, one of the most ancient trade routes in the world, ran through here. Moses asked to pass through it on the way to Canaan. The Edomites refused. Edom is modern-day southern Jordan. Its capital was Petra. the rose-red city carved into cliffs. The prophets Obadiah and Jeremiah both warned Edom of coming judgment. "Though you soar like the eagle and set your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down," declares the Lord. To the north, Syria and Lebanon, the ancient regions of Aram and Phoenicia. Damascus is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The Apostle Paul was blinded on the road to Damascus and converted there. It was already ancient when he arrived. No city on earth has been fought over more than Jerusalem, and its geography explains why. It sits on Mount Moriah, the same mountain where Abraham was called to sacrifice Isaac, the same mountain where Solomon built his temple, the same mountain where, according to Islamic tradition, Muhammad ascended to heaven. Three of the world's major religions claim this one limestone hill as sacred ground. To the east, the Mount of Olives overlooks the city. Jesus wept over Jerusalem from here. He prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane at its foot. To the west, the ancient city of David clings to a narrow ridge above the Kidron Valley. Jerusalem was never the largest city, never the richest, never the most strategically obvious choice, but it became, and remains, the most contested piece of real estate in human history. The geography of the Bible is not just background information, it's theology made physical. Every mountain crossing, every river ford, every desert wandering, the land was teaching something. When you read about Abraham leaving Ur for a land he had never seen, you're reading about someone stepping off the edge of the known world. When you read about the Israelites longing for Canaan from the wilderness, you feel their exhaustion because you know what the desert looks like. When you read that Jesus walked from Galilee to Jerusalem, a journey of 4 days on foot, you understand the weight of what he was walking toward. The Bible is a geographic book, and if you want to understand it deeply, go to the map. The land will tell you everything. Like and subscribe for more videos on the history and context of the Bible. Comment below, which biblical location would you most want to visit?